Hey students, this is lesson 5.5. We're going to learn one more form of linear equation called the standard form. And so we're going to learn how to graph linear equations using intercepts. You'll find out what that is soon. And to write linear equations in standard form. Go ahead and do the review here and make sure you know what standard form is before you continue on. All right, so standard form is written in this form where you have something times x plus something times y equals a constant. So the x and y are both on the same side. So this is in standard form. And one thing about standard form is it's really nice for finding the intercepts. And finding the intercepts, they're important points because they're the points where either the x value or the y value is 0. So either the starting point or sometimes the ending point. But so let's start by finding the x-intercept here. Now the x-intercept, just to draw you a quick picture, so let's say this is the graph. The x-intercept is this point right here. And that point, one thing we know about that point is that the y value is 0 at that point. So it's some x value and 0. So to find the x-intercept, one way we could do it is, if we don't have a graph, is to just substitute 0 in for y. So I'm just going to rewrite this equation, but instead of y, I'm going to put 0 there. And then solve that equation for x, and that'll be the x-intercept. So 6 times 0 is just 0. So we get 2x plus 0 equals 18, and 2x plus 0, of course, is just 2x. And so we can find x by just doing 18 divided by 2, which is 9. So my x-intercept is the point 9, 0. All right, and now the y-intercept, I can find that. That's this point right here. And in that one, the x-coordinate is 0, and then there's some y-coordinate. So to find that, we're going to substitute 0 for x. So I'm going to, instead of doing 2 times x, I'm going to do 2 times 0 plus 6 times y is equal to 18. And again, this is equal to 0, and 0 plus 6y is just 6y. And so I can just do 18 divided by 6 to find y. So the y-intercept is the point 0, 3. All right, go ahead, you try that. Practice finding the intercepts. All right, now if we want to make a graph of an equation written in standard form, we have a method. We can just find the intercepts. So find the point somewhere on the x-axis, and then find the other point, the y-intercept, somewhere on the y-axis up here. And all you have to do then is connect the two with the line, because you really only need 2 points to make a graph. All right, so let's find the x-intercept. And the way you do that is you substitute 0 for y. So I'm going to do 4 times x minus 3 times 0 equals 12. And 3 times 0 is 3, so I really just have to figure out what number times 4 equals 12, and that number is 3. So my x-intercept is the point 3, 0. And then I'll find my y-intercept. And to do that, I'm going to let x equal 0. So I'm going to do 4 times 0 minus 3 times y is equal to 12. And 4 times 0 is 0. 0 minus 3y is negative 3y. Divide both sides by negative 3, and I get y equals 4. So my y-intercept is the point 0, 4. Now I can just graph those 2 points, 3, 0, and 0, 4. And connect those with a line, and that is the graph of this equation written in standard form. Go ahead, practice that. All right, this is kind of a little review. We talked about this before, but we want to find the graph of each equation. X equals -1. X equals -1 is an equation. Notice there's absolutely no slope in there. I mean, and I don't mean zero slope, I mean the slope isn't there, which means the slope is undefined, and that would be a vertical line. And just a couple of points that would be solutions to this equation is anything that has an x value of -1. So -1, 3, -1, 0, -1, -2, any of those. And if I graph those, -1, 3, that would be this point. -1, 0 would be this point. -1, -2 would be this point. Notice they're all lining up in a vertical line. And so my graph is going to look like this, just a vertical line that goes through every point that has an x value equal to -1. Similarly, if I graph y equals 4, now this actually does have a slope because I can write this as 0 times x plus 4. That's equal to the same thing. So the slope is 0 and the y-intercept is 4. So here's the y-intercept, and a slope of 0 would mean it's a horizontal line. So I'm going to draw that line, and what you might notice for that line is every point on that line has a y-coordinate equal to 4. All right, go ahead and practice that. All right, another thing we might want to do is be able to take an equation written in some other form and transform it to standard form. So we're going to do that here. Now, standard form, it says using integers, and actually standard form kind of requires that you have integers. So this number, and this number have to be integers. So let's think about that. Let's start by thinking about what we could do to get rid of this fraction here. And one way you can get rid of that fraction is just to multiply by whatever the denominator is. So we're going to multiply both sides by 5. And so I'm going to put this in parentheses. So I'm going to use the multiplication property of equality. So I now have 5y equals, now distribute this 5. 5 times -3/5 is actually -3x. And 5 times 4 is 20. And now to get it in this form, I just need the x and the y to both be on the same side of the equal sign. So I'm just going to add 3x to both sides. And of course, 3x and 5y aren't like terms, so all I can do is represent that as an expression, 3x plus 5y, and that's equal to 20. And now these are all integers, and it's in standard form. Go ahead and practice that. All right, problem 5 here, we're going to use standard form as a model for a problem. Festival sells ride tickets for 50 cents each and game tickets for 20 cents each. You have $5 to spend on tickets at the festival, write and graph an equation that describes the items you can purchase. So let's let X be the number of ride tickets that we buy, and let Y be the number of game tickets we buy. Now, ride tickets are 50 cents each. So the amount we spend on ride tickets can be represented as 50 cents times X. And then the total we spend includes the amount we spend on game tickets, and those are 20 cents each. So the amount we spend on game tickets is 20 times Y. And that's going to equal our total of $5. Now, I would kind of like this to not have decimals in it. So I'm going to just multiply everything by 100 to get rid of those decimals. Actually, you could just really just multiply by 10, and then we get 5.0. Let's do that. I like that better. And then, so now we get 5x plus 2y is equal to 50. Okay, now if I graph that, 5x plus 2y equals 50. And think about this. If you spent all your money on ride tickets at 50 cents each and you had $5, so 50 divided by 5 is, that means you could buy 10 of those. And so if I put my ride tickets down here, my number of ride tickets, and over here I put my number of game tickets, If I spent all my money, and we can just go up by ones here, I would be able to buy 10 of those. So this is out here at 10. This is 5. Okay? And now if I spent all my money on game tickets, those are 20 cents each. I could actually buy 50 divided by 2 is 25 of those. So I need a different scale here. I'm going to go by 5s on this axis. Okay? And I can buy 25 of those. Now, all other possibilities of how many I could buy are between those 2 points. So, and we're asked to give a couple examples here. So, it looks like it's landing right on the grid in these places. So, in this, so this is 2, 4, 6, 8, and we can just do a couple possibilities. But of course, you know, just write them like this: ride tickets, game tickets. One possibility is 0 ride tickets and 25 game tickets. 10 ride tickets and 0 game tickets. This point here represents that I'm buying 2 ride tickets and 20 game tickets. This point right here represents that I'm buying 6 ride tickets and 10 game tickets. So those are some possibilities. Go ahead and practice that. All right, that should do it for this lesson. Go ahead and do the lesson check, and we'll talk about that next time we meet in class.